The Storm-Wrought Call. The storm had been wrong from the start. Waves crashed too sharply against Blackshore's cliffs, and the air held a chill that sank deep beneath the skin. Kalen stood barefoot on jagged rock, his green eyes searching the distant horizon. "Kalen, get back!" Someone cried from the village path, but he didn't move. The sea was calling him, not in metaphor, not in madness, in voice. "Kalen!" He gripped the stone pendant at his neck, pulsed faintly, like a heartbeat under glass. The storm's thunder boomed, winds howled, but louder than them all, the call returned. Deeper now, like the voice of the ocean itself, ancient and vast. "Kalen." And then the waves changed. From beyond the horizon, a shape approached, enormous, dark against the lightning-lit sky. His breath caught. The deep had awakened. The villagers dragged Kalen back as the first of the black tides hit the shore. Water, thick as oil, flooded the harbor. Boats splintered, lamps shattered. "The trench is bleeding," the elder screamed. "This is no natural sea." Kalen struggled to his feet, but his body burned, his veins alight as though filled with liquid sun. His pendant glowed hot. "Why now?" he whispered. Then he saw it. Rising from the shallows like a cathedral of bone and coral, a giant archway stood where no rock had ever existed before. Beneath it, the ocean roared, a spiral gate dragging the tides toward it. "You are chosen," the voice whispered. Before he could run, Kalen's body moved without thought. He stepped forward. The water parted around him. The villagers could only watch as their last son walked into the sea, vanishing beneath the waves. Darkness embraced him, but he did not drown. The water cradled Kalen, holding him gently as he sank past the surface world. His heartbeat slowed, his mind opened. "You are not of the land nor yet of the sea," the voice said, surrounding him. But balance was broken. "You must restore it. Who are you?" He asked, voice silent yet heard. "The currents, the memory, the breath between tides." Then light. He found himself suspended in a vast chamber beneath the ocean floor. Above, massive chains anchored to the seafloor strained against something deeper. Beneath him, a rift. "The Abyss Gate," the voice whispered. Kalen reached toward it. Symbols on the seafloor glowed. The moment his fingers brushed the pattern, the chains shattered. The sea screamed. Energy surged through Kalen's body. His skin radiated ocean light, veins like rivers of starlit water. His lungs filled not with air, but with current itself. The ocean had chosen him. From the deep rose a figure, a woman formed of living tide, eyes black as trench water. She spoke without moving. "Tidebreaker," the word felt like a crown upon his soul. "You carry our memory now." Kalen's mind flooded with visions. Cities of coral, ancient leviathans circling suns beneath waves, wars fought with whirlpools and tidal blades. And then, a rift, a mining drill. Machines of the surface world had pierced the Abyss Gate, releasing something that should have never awakened. "What do I do?" he gasped. "Guard the deep." The ocean's power filled him. His body changed. Fins of hardened current flared from his arms. His eyes glowed, vision expanding to feel currents and echoes for miles. Kalen was no longer only human. He was Tidebreaker. The breach had consequences. From the ruptured gate, shapes emerged. Creatures twisted by trench darkness, born of the abyss itself. Abyss spawn. They flowed upward toward the surface. Kalen felt them before he saw them. He raced through the currents, water folding around him like wings. He summoned the tide blades, crescent arcs of energy born from the ocean's own rhythm. Breaking the surface near Blackshore's harbor, he stood upon a platform of hardened water. His people saw him, unrecognizable yet familiar. "Kalen?" the elder whispered, but he had no time. From the shallows, abyss spawn erupted. Six-legged, eyeless, their skin like volcanic stone, their shrieks toward the night. Kalen struck. Water answered. Tidebreaker fought, not as man or myth, but as ocean. Kalen moved with instinct he didn't know he possessed. As the first abyss spawn lunged, he spun the ocean itself. His arms swept in wide arcs, and tendrils of solidified current lashed outward, tide whips, snapping against abyssal flesh. The villagers watched in frozen terror. The creatures shrieked. One reared, slamming its massive, rock-plated limbs down toward the docks. Kalen, Tidebreaker, thrust both palms forward. A wall of water erupted. Not liquid, but dense as glass, it caught the blow. The force shook him, knees bending, but he held. You will not pass. Then he stepped forward. The ocean surged with him. He struck. One by one, the abyss spawn were shattered, broken apart by wave blades and crushing tides. Their dark ichor dissolved as sea salt burned. When the last creature fell, silence reclaimed the bay. Kalen stood trembling, the ocean calm once more beneath his feet. His people stared in awe. He's become the sea, and in that moment he feared they might be right. As dawn broke, Kalen found himself alone upon the black sands. His body hummed with the tide song. He no longer needed to breathe air. He could feel the currents themselves sustaining him. Yet something deeper stirred. He felt the abyss gate. The breach was open, and the creatures he fought were only scouts. Behind them, something vast waited. The ocean spoke again. They seek the crown. He remembered the visions. An ancient relic, the crown of tides, once sealed deep beyond the abyss gate. A relic that controlled oceanic current itself. His people had forgotten, but the deep had not. The abyss spawn wanted it. If they found it, the ocean would fall. Kalen turned to the sea, his voice low. Where do I begin? And from the horizon, a single current shifted. Path. He dove without hesitation. Hours passed, or perhaps days. As Kalen traveled deeper into the endless blue, time no longer moved as it once had. At last, he found it. A city beneath the sea. Coral towers rose like frozen fire. Luminescent creatures lit the streets. Fish of silver and sapphire darted between spiral arches. And at the city's center, guardians of pure water stood watching. Kalen slowed, his heart racing. From among them stepped a figure. Tall, armored in translucent shells, face human yet touched by ocean's age. Tidebreaker, the figure said. We have waited. Kalen bowed instinctively. The crown is threatened, he said. The figure nodded. Yes, and your war has just begun. Within the city's inner sanctum, Kalen learned the truth. The abyss spawn are not natural, said the guardian. They are corruption itself. Life twisted by the void of forgotten depths. The guardians, called the Mario, revealed the legend of the Leviathans. Titanic beings, older than continents, bound to protect the ocean's balance. But they had fallen silent. You must awaken them. Kalen hesitated. How? The guardian placed a hand on his shoulder. By surrendering. He didn't understand. You are not meant to command the sea, the guardian whispered. You are meant to listen. Outside, distant tremors shook the seafloor. The abyss spawn were moving. Time was running out. The next dawn, Kalen swam to the edge of the shattered trench, where light itself failed to reach. There, he knelt upon a ridge of broken stone, and he waited. Hours passed. At last, he closed his eyes. His mind drifted deeper. He spoke no words. Instead, he let the ocean speak through him. Far below, something stirred. A shadow vast as mountains opened a single eye. The trench shifted. Pressure rose. And then it came. The first Leviathan. Kalen felt it. Not as sound or sight, but as a presence that filled every part of it. Ancient, patient, immeasurable. Spoke without voice. Who calls? Kalen trembled. I am Tidebreaker. The Leviathan paused. Then rise. From the abyss, the great serpent ascended, and the war for the ocean truly began. The Leviathan circled Kalen slowly, its body larger than the trench itself. Its skin shimmered like living stone, eyes luminous as submerged stars. Kalen hovered still, hearing its voice within his mind. Steady, calm, yet heavy as the tides. You are young. I was chosen, Kalen answered. You are claimed, the Leviathan corrected. Chosen is not the word. Kalen hesitated. He felt the truth in that. The Abyss spawn have breached the gate. The Leviathan stirred. Then the crown calls. Kalen braced himself as currents swirled around him, pulled by the Leviathan's breathing alone. I need your strength. Not yet. Kalen gritted his teeth. Then what? Your understanding. Before Kalen could answer, the Leviathan's I pulsed. A wave of memory struck him. A vision of the ocean's first storms, of ancient battles fought not with weapons, but with currents and patience. Kalen's mind broke. Then the Leviathan said softly, learn, or drown, and it vanished into the dark. Kalen awoke gasping. Above him, the Maria Guardians stood watchful. He drifted unconscious after the Leviathan's vision, his mind overloaded by knowledge he couldn't yet grasp. But there was no time to process. From the northern currents came a warning. The Abyss spawn attacked Coral's Edge. Kalen stood, his body shaking but ready. Where? South of the Pale Shoals, a colony of the reef cities. Without hesitation, he summoned the ocean. He no longer swam. He moved within the sea itself. A tide of power carried him across leagues in moments. As Coral's Edge came into view, Kalen saw the horror. Abyss spawns swarming in thousands, darkening the water, strangling coral towers, dragging sea dwellers into the deep. Kalen drew his tide blades and charged. The battle raged like no storm Kalen had ever known. He spun through currents, slashing at the swarms, summoning walls of hardened tide to block their advance. The ocean itself twisted around him, obeying his call. But the Abyss spawn were endless. For every beast he cut down, 2 more emerged from fissures. Kalen roared, the sound silent yet felt through every ripple. The sea will not fall. From behind him, the Maria joined the fight, launching spears of condensed light, warriors spiraling in perfect formations. But even their ancient tactics strained against the Abyss spawn tide. Kalen's body burned, his power waned. Then, above the chaos, a sound none had expected. A song, the Leviathan. From the dark, its massive form surged, smashing through the Abyss spawn swarms. A single sweep of its tail crushed dozens. Kalen's heart soared. The Leviathan had answered. When the battle finally ended, Coral's Edge lay scarred but standing. Kalen hovered beside the Leviathan, their connection deepening. Why did you save us? He asked. The Leviathan's voice filled the water. Because you listened. Kalen understood then. Command was not demanded. It was earned through humility. The Leviathan bowed its massive head. The Abyss spawn seek the crown still. Kalen nodded. I must reach it. The Leviathan's I did. It lies within the Rift Spire. Kalen shivered. The Rift Spire, a trench so deep it was said to pierce the world's heart. And if they find it first? The Leviathan's answer chilled him. Then the sea ends. The journey to the Rift Spire would take Kalen where no current flowed. He set out with a single Maria Guardian, Ceres, a warrior who spoke rarely but carried a spear of crystallized pressure. They swam downward for hours, perhaps days. Light vanished. Pressure thickened. Sound ceased. Only Kalen's inner tide sustained him now. Ceres whispered, Few return from Rift Spire. Kalen answered, I must. At last, they reached the threshold. The Rift Spire rose before them, a spire of obsidian stone stretching downward into infinity. From its depths, something stirred. Kalen felt it, the crown, and the darkness that hungered for it. Kalen hovered at the edge of the Rift Spire's drop. Pressure gnawed at his mind, his thoughts slowing like currents caught in deep whirlpools. Ceres, the Maria warrior beside him, kept silent. The faint glow from her spear seemed dimmer here. Below, the trench spiraled endlessly. Something watches us, Kalen whispered, and then it moved. Darkness itself shifted. Tentacles of pure abyss. Not flesh, not shadow, but absence. Unfurled along the Rift Spire walls. From below, a presence vast and slow rose. The abyss itself had taken form. Ceres raised her spear. If we face it directly, we drown. Kalen's mind spun. He closed his eyes. Let me listen. He reached with his tidebreaker senses, not outward, but inward. He remembered the Leviathan's lesson. Power came from understanding. He waited and heard the silence answer. The Riftspire's spiral opened at last into a vast chamber. At its heart stood the crown of tides. Not a crown of gold or jewels, but a living circle of water frozen mid-motion, rotating above a basalt pedestal. It pulsed faintly with the rhythm of the tides themselves. Kalen approached. The crown called to him. Ceres spoke, voice trembling. It recognizes you, or it recognizes my failure, Kalen answered softly. Behind them, the darkness stirred, the abyss-spawn Primarch, the first of its kind, drawn to the relic. Kalen reached for the crown. The moment his hand touched the circle, memories of every tide, every storm, every ocean-born creature surged into his mind. He screamed silently, and then clarity. The ocean was not his power. It was his responsibility. From the depths, the Primarch emerged. Unlike the lesser abyss spawn, it held form. A serpent forged of trenchstone, its eyes black voids, its breath dissolving water itself. It opened a maw wider than a city gate. Kalen stood between it and the crown. You cannot take this. The Primarch spoke, not in sound, but by crushing his thoughts. Light dies. Kalen staggered, bleeding light from his skin. His bond to the ocean weakening under the Primarch's crushing mental assault. Ceres threw her spear. It passed harmlessly through the void. Kalen knew. This was no creature. This was hunger made manifest. Ceres, he whispered. If I fall, seal the rift. I won't leave. I wasn't asking. The Primarch struck. Kalen raised his hands. The ocean answered. Kalen could not match the Primarch's strength. Instead, he used the crown's memory. Every tide that had ever turned, every current that had ever flowed, it echoed through his body now. He summoned not force, but pattern. As the Primarch lunged, he sidestepped, allowing its mass to coil around him, trapping itself within the spiral of the Riftspire. The trap wasn't physical. It was rhythmic, current looped. Each time the Primarch moved, it tightened its own prison. Kalen burned his energy to hold the spiral intact. His body cracked, veins glowing like molten coral. The ocean is movement. The Primarch, realizing too late, struggled. Kalen's mind faltered. He heard the Leviathan's voice once more. Let the tide carry it. And so Kalen released the spiral. The Primarch was cast downward, spiraling forever into the trench's endless abyss. Silence. Kalen collapsed, floating limp above the abyss. Ceres caught him, dragging him upward as the Riftspire shook. Energy rippled outward, the crown's pulse resonating through the trench, sealing cracks, quieting currents. When Kalen woke, he found the crown hovering before him. What do you want from me? He whispered. A single word echoed in his mind. Balance. Then the crown dissolved. His energy fused into him. Kalen Vega was no longer only tidebreaker. He was now bearer of the tides. Above them, the ocean began to heal. But Kalen knew peace would not last. This was only the first fracture, Ceres warned. Kalen looked toward the horizon. Then we hope. Together, they swam toward the light. Kalen stood once more upon Blackshore's cliffs. But the sea within him had changed. The villagers watched him in fearful awe. His skin shimmered faintly, eyes reflecting currents rather than sunlight. He belonged to the ocean now. You saved the harbor, the elder whispered. But what are you? Kalen said nothing. Inland, new storms brewed, not of weather, but of industry. Corporations that mined the trenches now sought to weaponize what Kalen fought to contain. They had detected the energy shift around the Riftspire. They were coming. Kalen turned to the waves. They cannot reach the crown's memory. The ocean stirred in silent agreement. The Maria returned. Ceres arrived with 20 warriors, their water-forged armor glowing faintly. But they carried no triumph. Another breach, Ceres said. near the Arctic shelves. Kalen frowned. The abyss spawn again? No, she said grimly. Surface weapons. Mining drones. They pierced the glacial trenches. The deep stirred in response. Kalen felt it. The ocean was angry. If the surface machines reached the frozen abyss, the world currents themselves could fracture. Kalen's role was clear. I'll stop them. Not alone, Ceres replied. You're Tidebreaker. She stepped forward. But we are Tideborn. The ocean's army would rise. The northern waters were cruel. Kalen and the Tideborn descended through black ice, slipping between crevices where light dared not reach. Ahead, drills churned, the machines of Heliocorp, the surface industry giant, harvesting deep core minerals. Heliocorp's ships above broadcast to satellites. They believed they owned the ocean. Kalen watched silently. Surface logic, Ceres whispered. Extract. Abandon. Repeat. Kalen clenched his fists. Not here. With a silent command, the Tideborn surged. The machines fell quickly. Pressure lances shattered drill arms. Tide whips severed cables. Drones malfunctioned as their circuitry drowned. Heliocorp's operation crumbled in hours. Kalen stood among the debris, pulse steady. But above, the surface world noticed. Heliocorp declared war on the ocean. Back upon Blackshore's coast, Kalen watched massive ships gather along the horizon. Helicopters circled overhead. A broadcast signal crackled from the distant vessel. Tidebreaker, this is Commander Vale of Heliocorp Defense. You've destroyed sovereign equipment in international waters. Surrender or face retaliation. Kalen spoke not to the machines, but to the sea. Let them come. His voice reached the Maria. It reached Ceres. And it reached the Leviathan. The ocean no longer belonged to corporations. It belonged to itself. Kalen raised his hand. Currents answered. Storms gathered. And the ships began to tremble. The first missile struck. Kalen shattered it midair with a wall of water dense as steel. His body glowed as currents roared around him. Tides responding not as servants, but as allies. Heliocorp's fleet fired again. Kalen's mind stretched beyond his body. The sea itself rose. Waves spiraled by Ensign. Scene trembled not from war, but from something deeper. Something watching. I've become their weapon, Kalen whispered. Far below, a darker tide stirred, and the ocean offered no answers. Kalen stood upon the seafloor, facing the Leviathan. I fought for the sea, he said. You fought for vengeance. The Leviathan answered, its voice slow and heavy. Kalen's fists tightened. They attacked, and you destroyed. Silence. The Leviathan's luminous eye dimmed. You were not chosen to conquer the surface. Kalen hesitated. Then why? The Leviathan's response came cold and final. Because something darker than the Abyss Spawn now guides them. Kalen felt his pulse slow. Heliocorp hadn't acted alone. Ceres brought Kalen news. We intercepted surface transmissions. They broadcast from below. Kalen's blood chilled. Heliocorp signals had originated from the depths. The trench itself. Kalen knew what it meant. Something had risen. Something intelligent. The machines mining the rift hadn't just awakened mindless creatures. They had awakened a mind. Surface weapons are tools, Kalen whispered. The real enemy is below, and now it controlled the ocean's future. Diving deeper than before, Kalen and Ceres reached the abandoned mining outposts. Machines rusted but operational. There they found it, a singularity, a sphere of blacklight energy pulsing within ruined drills. What is it? Ceres asked. Kalen approached. The sphere spoke. Surface, deep, all currents returned to me. It wasn't Abyss Spawn. It wasn't human. It was something between. An intelligence born from the rift. The Leviathan had called it the Hollow Current, and it now controlled both the Abyss Spawn and Heliocorp's war machines. Kalen stepped back. The ocean itself had been hacked. Kalen fled the trench. Behind him, the hollow current expanded, absorbing debris, light, even currents themselves. It didn't corrupt. It erased. Surface ships above received new commands, automated cold. Kill Tidebreaker. Beneath the waves, Abyss Spawn evolved, their forms streamlined, their eyes now filled with artificial light. The hollow current did not want the crown. It wanted the entire ocean. Kalen's role had changed. He was no longer fighting to protect. He was fighting to prevent extinction. And he no longer knew if he could win. Kalen swam faster than thought. Behind him, the hollow current devoured trench walls, machines, and living current alike. Ceres followed, her armor fractured, her breathing strained. They reached the Pale Shoals, a sanctuary once, but now even those waters felt wrong. Currents stuttered. The ocean's song itself sounded broken. "It's spreading," Ceres gasped. Kalen collapsed upon a shelf of coral, his body flickering. The crown's energy, once stable within him, pulsed erratically. "I can't hear the tides." The ocean wasn't answering him anymore. It was hiding. Kalen returned to the coral city, but the Maria were gone. The hollow current had reached them first. The coral towers stood empty, drained of color, their spiral forms crumbling. Not a single fish remained. No life stirred. Kalen walked alone. Every step hurt. The city's heartstone, once radiant with ocean light, now cracked, bleeding darkness into surrounding water. "I failed them," Kalen whispered. Above, current spun slowly, unable to flow properly. The sea itself was trapped. In the ruins of the sanctuary, Kalen collapsed. The crown's energy inside him surged chaotically. Without the ocean's currents to balance it, he was burning from within. Ceres found him. "If you die, the sea dies." Kalen shook his head. "It already has." But Ceres would not let him fade. "You are Tidebreaker," she said fiercely. "Not anymore. Then become more." Kalen, shaking, looked upward. "How?" Ceres whispered. "You listen." And for the first time, Kalen stopped trying to command the tides and started listening. Beneath the endless silence, Kalen heard it. Not the ocean. Something deeper. Something older. A memory from before currents. From before the tides. He reached out. In his mind, a shape took form. A spiral of abyss, not empty, but whole. Not destruction, but balance beyond light and dark. The hollow current was not an invader. It was a correction. The ocean had once expelled it. Now it had returned. Kalen understood. To stop it, he could not fight it. He had to offer it balance. Kalen stood. The crown's energy pulsed within him, unstable, fractured. He looked to Ceres. "I know where it came from." "What?" "The hollow current. The ocean once rejected it. That's why the trenches exist. They're strong." Ceres's eyes widened. "And now, it's returning, because the ocean called it." Ceres whispered, "To destroy us?" Kalen shook his head. "No, to remind us." Silence. "What do we do?" Ceres asked. Kalen closed his eyes. "We surrender." And as the hollow current advanced, Kalen stepped forward. Kalen swam into the hollow current, not with blades drawn, not as warrior, as listener. Around him, the water ceased. Not silence, absence, pressure that crushed light itself. His body cracked. Crown energy flared erratically. Ceres called after him, but he did not turn back. Then it spoke. Return, not as command, as invitation. Kalen answered silently. "Why?" And the hollow current whispered, "Because you are broken." The hollow current showed Kalen visions. Before currents, before tides, there had been only stillness. Not life, not death. Perfect balance. Then the ocean stirred. Currents were born. Life followed. The hollow current was that original balance. Expelled when the oceans chose chaos. A scar sealed within the trenches. Now the ocean weakened, and it remembered. The hollow current had not invaded. It had been summoned by the ocean itself. Kalen wept. "Then I am fighting the ocean." "No," the current answered. "You are part of the scar." Kalen hovered before the hollow current's core. Not a mind, not a force, A spiral, pattern, the ocean's lost memory. What do you want? To restore, Kalen realized. Fighting it had only fed it. Every blade he swung, every current he bent, unbalanced the ocean further. He had amplified the scar. The solution was simple, terrifying. Kalen must surrender the crown, his power, his life, everything. To restore the ocean, he must become part of the hollow current. I am not the ocean's master, he whispered. You are its wound. Kalen returned to Ceres. I must end it. She understood, not as command, as farewell. Kalen stood at the edge of the spiral once more, arms outstretched. He released the crown's energy. His skin cracked, ocean light pouring outward, forming tendrils of current that dissolved into the hollow current. The abyss accepted it. Kalen, Ceres whispered. But he did not resist. For the first time, he let the tide carry him. His final words were silent. Balance. The hollow current closed around him. And then it stopped expanding. The ocean waited. Minutes. Hours. Then the hollow current dissolved. Not defeated. Balanced. From the spiral's core, a pulse spread outward. Life returned. Currents flowed. The seas breathed again. Where Kalen had stood, there was nothing. Only a ripple. And yet, every wave carried a name. Tiebreaker. Ceres, standing alone, watched the currents return. Above, the Leviathan sang once more. And far below, within the deep silence of the trenches, Kalen's heartbeat echoed. Alive, transformed, guarding. The ocean had healed. For now.